Hey, y'all need a break? Listen to these stories from r/entitled parents. My mom gave me up for $2,500. So, backstory, my mom and dad split up when I was roughly 9 or 10 years old due to my mother cheating on my father when he was out of the country. He's a pilot. At the time, it was me and my 2 older sisters, one of which was already an adult, so my other sister and I were left under my mother's custody due to my father always flying and not wanting us to go through moving all the time. As far as the details go, my dad not only paid my mom child support but also paid off the house. Despite having little money to take care of himself, he paid my mom more than what he actually owed. Yet, my sister and I never saw that money. After the divorce, my mom turned to many things: sleeping around, gambling, drinking, and eventually meth, though that didn't last long due to my dad finding out and threatening to take us away. My sister practically became my mother since ours decided to step down from the plate and I was too young to take care of myself. When my sister left for college, all the emotional abuse she took ended up falling on me, which sent me into a loop. Due to my sister taking all the damage, I typically saw my mother as, well, my mother. My young brain didn't notice how often she didn't come home at night, or the lack of food in the house, or the constant weeks I'd wear one outfit since I didn't have other clothes that fit. I didn't notice how not normal this is. Heading into high school, it became more and more obvious this wasn't right at all, yet I still loved my mother. We bantered and ate fast food together and she was proud of my accomplishments. But she had her moments, dropping huge hints that I'm too boyish like my dad, refusing to let me cut my hair, pressuring me into wearing makeup, heels, dresses, convincing me I don't need therapy as my therapist at the time made me uncomfortable, one of those Christian therapists that made everything about God. While I am a Christian, it didn't help the conversation, and so on. Meanwhile, my dad met a woman and they fell in love. When she became pregnant with his kid, he moved her to America after my little sister was born and started a new family. I love my stepmom, she's literally the sweetest woman I know, and I adore my baby sister, and eventually my second baby sister. Over time, after spending many nights in their home, I came to realize how much happier I was at their house over my mother's. One day, I told my dad I want to officially live with him. At this point in time, I've noticed how depressed I am and how things aren't normal in my mom's house. When I told my mother this, she was deeply upset and cried, but she understood, or so I thought. That's when everything went downhill. The text messages started, sly guilt trips and remarks on how someone else convinced me to move out, that my father convinced me she was the bad guy. The more these texts happened, the warier I became on talking to her. It got to the point where I would cry after every conversation because I was so confused and lost. One day, she practically trapped me in her car in my best friend's driveway to tell me how my reasons for leaving her were bullcrap, and that I clearly don't remember what it was like in that house. Cue my memory issues. But enough about that, let's get to the good part, the custody case. Due to me being the last child between my mother and father, my dad no longer had to pay child support. Obviously, they go to court about this. Except my mom didn't show up. For many hearings. When she did, she had this bullcrap story about how my dad owed her a crapload of money because he never paid the full child support, how she felt pressured to believe him and trust him when he said he knew how much he owed her. He did. He calculated it himself and actually paid more than what was needed. So, if you're catching on, this fight was about money. Here's a fun little thing. My mom texted me maybe a month before this case started about how she desperately wants me to come home, how she will do anything to get her baby back. That aged well, didn't it? Because one day, my mom stated that if my dad pays her $2,500, she will give up full custody of me. My dad agreed to it and it was over. She gave up her custody rights for $2,500. It still stings. I'm still bitter and angry to this day about it, and this case happened years ago. I don't think my mom is aware I know the details on this case, as she, very rarely, reaches out to me as if we still have a relationship to tell me how much she loves and misses me. The thing is, I learned that my mom actually despised me after the divorce, because I reminded her of my dad. We have the same eyes and resting face, lol. My mom just loves being the victim and even tried to convince my sister she doesn't remember doing all the stuff she did to us. She even blamed my dad for her cheating on him and said so to my face. I haven't had a real conversation with her since Christmas, over the phone of course, and haven't seen her in person since maybe before the pandemic. She texted me recently all excited about a gift she got for my sister's unborn baby and it sent a whole new wave of resentment towards her. I stopped trying long ago to have a relationship with her as she doesn't try in return and will continue to do so until she admits her wrongs, apologizes, and actually tries to be an effing mother for once in her life. Until then, my only mother is my lovely stepmom. Entitled Mommy Demands Money from Me Again. I'm a 20 male and I was hoping not to have to post about my mother, but she came back for more. Frick. To bring everyone up to speed, She had an affair that resulted with her having my half-brother and sister. Parents got divorced and she kicked me to the curb and married her sugar daddy. Now my sister is about to graduate and she wants me to hand over some money for my inheritance because sugar daddy won't give my sister an allowance for college to spend on booze, blow, and whatever else, or well, that's I think she'll spend it on anyways. I had received $93K from my grandpa, spent $27K on a tractor before putting the rest aside, and spent the past 2 years adding to it until I was at $79K. With some advice from my last post, I took all but $10K from my savings, bought a used no-till seeder and offset disc for $18K, and invested the rest for my future farm purchases. Now on with the show. It was a lovely day on the farm. My dad was out plowing, I'm hauling manure. I got Def Leppard playing in the tractor, a decent buzz off of Copenhagen Wintergreen, and thinking about Hardee's commercials, just living life, about to take another load out to the field when my mom's effing Porsche pulls into the farm blocking my way. She rolls her window down, honks her horn and waves at me to come talk. I hop off the tractor and yell out I'm not a lap dog. If she wants to talk, she needs to get out and come say what she wants face to face. She makes a show about getting out, and to my surprise my sister came with her this time. My sister is very much like my mom when it comes to looks, too much highlights, spray on tan to the point a orange, looks pale, and more makeup than 10 circus clowns put together. Me, well, looks like Amber Heard left a surprise in my driveway. Will you be climbing into the spreader or will I need to grab the skid steer and dump you guys in? You will not talk me that way. I'm your mother and you will respect that. Me, now you're more like a surrogate to me than a mom. She wrinkles her nose at me and exchanged looks of disgust with my sister. You know what we're here for, so why don't you do us a favor and make it quick? Me, I want to hear it from my sister's mouth, not yours. What is it that you want from me? I want the money that was supposed to be for me. Me, I don't know what you're talking about. What money? You know exactly what I'm talking about, the money that. Me, oh that money, blame mommy dearest for riding the wrong dick and lying about it. Don't talk like that about me. I am your mother. Me, F off with that bullcrap. You know damn well what you did and now you're just mad that my grandpa wouldn't give your hell spawns what was promised before the truth came out. Are you going to give me what I'm owed? Me, you can have my chaw, it's lost the flavor. I take the chew out from my mouth and held it out for her. Both she and my mom started gagging like they're about to vomit. I threw it to ground in front of their feet, making it fall apart everywhere and onto their shoes. I'm just having a good time. I then ask my sister why she wants the money so badly. Because I don't want to work at some McDonald's or something while I'm in college. I can't stand being around people like you. Me, what's wrong with people like me? I like people like me. You're not sophisticated enough, that's why. You wear rags and I see you've taken to growing a mullet. Disgusting. Me, hey now don't be judging my cougar magnet. Also I think you should work so you can learn proper people skills, which I see you're lacking. I am not. Just give us the money and we'll be on our way. Me, I can't. I don't have it anymore. Why don't you have it? You didn't go to college or spend on anything from what I can see. Me, well it's kinda embarrassing. I don't want to talk about it. What did you spend it on? Me, if you insist. There was this heavy-set stripper named Rosie with these massive 42 double D tits that I had a thing for. She claimed to love me and I fell for it. Now I'm broke. You're a liar. Just give us the money. Me, I'm telling the truth, I swear. I don't have it. Bullcrap, give it to me. Yes, give it to your sister, or else. Me, how about I stomp in some calf crap and shove my boot so far up both your butts you can taste it. Why do you keep disrespecting us? Me, why don't you two no good for nothing, goddamn mother effing holes, get the F off my property. There was some fighting after I lost my cool, they then left in a huff, middle fingers in the air calling me everything under the sun. I quickly grabbed a handful of cow crap and threw it at the car as they peeled out. When my dad came home from the field later, I told him what happened and he was pissed off, but thought it was kinda funny at the same time. That's the end. I hope you enjoyed me sharing this with you guys. An entitled mother tried to get me fired for protecting her daughter's identity. So, a few years ago, I used to work for a call center that took debit/credit card fraud calls, and I had been trained to also work with people who were victims of identity theft. This subject was always per company policy and very touchy, but there were far too many people who were too entitled to take everything seriously. One particular instance was an 18-year-old who called in because her debit card wasn't working. We'll call her ED. She came on the phone furious because she was on a shopping spree and her card stopped working. What was even worse was, even though she admitted that she got a message from the bank regarding the suspicious activity on her account, there was someone who called in and changed her login and information and tried to transfer money from the account. She called the number on the back of her card and demanded that I turn back on her card. The following conversation ensued. Me, I'd be more than happy to help you get your card working. Can you please verify your first and last name? ED, didn't anything populate for you on the screen? Either your automated system is messed up or you need to actually do your job and stop being lazy. Me, I had already worked for the entire day and was only about an hour from getting off work. Yes, a profile appeared on my screen, but company policy states that I need to verify whom I am speaking to so that I can make sure I have the right information. The ED huffs and gives me the information I need, but, thanks to the changes made to her account on top of the dirtbag calling back and changing even more information, we had a sister location that was literally the worst of entitled people, always allowing random people into the accounts on top of compromising so many accounts that I'm surprised they never got closed down and sued. I wasn't able to verify her into the account, which meant that I couldn't turn back on the card. The ED started screaming at me about how I didn't do my job right and had no business asking her all those questions. Eventually, she ends the rant by saying that she's calling her mom. Thankfully, she hangs up the phone in the process, and I thought that was the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. I had about 15 minutes left to my shift, and I was about to pull myself out of the call queue so I didn't get pulled into a call only to get a call thanks to a small delay in the loading screen. Of course, it's ED, and she has her mother, EM, on the phone with her. EM, are you the one who refused to turn on my daughter's card? Me, I already know where this is going and brace myself. No, but I would be more than happy to help her turn on the card. May I get your name please? EM was a little more civil, but I already had an idea where this was going, especially since this was not an isolated occurrence. I got her verified into the account, and I saw that she was on the same account in question. This gave me the perfect opening to start the bad part of the call, and I told her that the system wouldn't allow me to unlock the card due to the fact that there had been suspicious activity on the account that we needed to verify. She remained civil and even encouraged her daughter to be civil as well, which helped when I tried to re-verify the daughter into the account. Of course, the daughter failed to verify into the account, mostly due to the fact that the daughter literally knew nothing about her past addresses or cars she had owned, and I gave the same verbiage as before. This time, no one was civil. EM, what do you mean you can't unlock her card? She answered all your questions. Me, unfortunately, the information she gave was incorrect, and we're locked out of the account. You can call back and try again, or I can file a request for one of our backroom investigators to give her a call back based on the contact information we have, but there's nothing I can do for you at this time. EM, just turn on the card. You verified me into the account. ED, that's her. That's the lazy butt worker who locked me out of the account and won't turn it back on. I tried explaining everything to them, but they continued yelling and cussing me out for everything. Eventually, I saw that I was now 30 minutes over my shift and told them that they could call back or wait until the investigator called them. They continued to cuss, and, per company policy, I ended up hanging up when they continued to cuss at me after I warned them that this was policy. The following day, I found out that the EM and ED had called in several more times, demanding supervisors each and every time in order to get me fired. I actually ended up with a few Facebook messages from some random woman and her daughter over the next few days, all because one of the workers from our trashy sister company broke company policy, and gave them my first and last name as well as my location, so they could contact me regarding my bad behavior. I took the messages to my supervisor, who blew it off and told me to just ignore it, and I ended up blocking both of them. They lived out of state, and I hadn't updated my current location in a few years. I refused to be on Facebook for a while, and I was always looking over my shoulder, and I wanted to unalive the worker that outed me the way they did. I found their information and filed a formal complaint with corporate, and I was told later on that the worker was fired, and I was out of line when I went to corporate. Let's just say I didn't stay long, and I still have too many stories like this. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.